What's up, guys? Hey! So I wanted to talk about something that I've actually had conversation with a lot of, like, some of my friends and some of my private clients with, and it just tends to, I just think it's entertaining in a way, and I just really want to put this message out there because I think there's a misconception. Hey, Emily. Hey, Ashley. What's up, guys? I think there's a misconception between, like, just basically when you're sharing your values or your opinions and things like that, people assume that everyone's going to hate on you. There's always going to be people who don't agree or don't understand, and they're going to attack you, and that's just the way it's supposed to be. Hey, Justin, what's up? And so many people say that, right? Like, well, if you don't have haters, then you're not talking about something. This lighting is fucking terrible. Sorry. Like, if you don't have haters, then you're obviously not, you know, saying something that's passionate enough, or you're not being polarizing enough, or you're not sharing your truth enough if people aren't hating on you. And I'm like, that is so false. And it creates this false need for people to be brash and rude. And what I wanted to say is, you guys have heard me several times talk about how you can be honest. Like, that doesn't mean that you have to be an asshole. Like, a lot of people who will just walk around and just be blatant jerks will then say, well, I was just being honest. Okay, no, you were being a jerk. Like, I'm honest all day long, all the time, and I'm not an asshole to people all day long, all the time. It's just a matter of how you want to present what you're saying, right? But you can't use that as an excuse. But so the same thing happens, and people ask me, they're like, well, you don't get a lot of that? And I'm like, no, I don't. I do not get people attacking me. I don't get people being rude and hateful and disrespectful to me. I mean, obviously I will get the occasional thing, and it's usually along the lines of, like, something about my appearance, some dumbass that didn't even read what I wrote and doesn't care. And that's, to me, like, a totally different story than, like, somebody disagreeing with me or saying that I'm, like, stupid or wrong or whatever, and having these big, long, drawn-out conversations with rude comments, and people basically, like, in the true term of hating on you. And I'm like, that doesn't happen to me. People are like, well, it must happen. I'm like, it doesn't really happen very often. It's a very few and far between thing. And I do talk about controversial topics. Like, I do talk about things that I'm passionate about. I do say things that not everyone agrees with, right? But that doesn't mean that they attack me for my viewpoints. And here's why. Here is the reason. I've actually gone over this with clients of mine. I've gone over this with different people, and I'm like, what do you think the reason is? And so many people don't grasp. It's the intention. It's the way that you say what you're saying. It's the feeling, the compassion, the understanding behind what you're saying. Like, I do not speak out about things that I'm not educated on. I do not speak out and not be clear. Like, when I talk about something, I'm very clear about what I'm saying. I'm never vague. I'm never whatever. I'm super duper clear. There's a lot of intention behind the way that I speak, and I do that on purpose. And if more people would do that, they wouldn't have the lash back, and they wouldn't have the anger. Some people, that's their strategy, that's their intention. They want to piss people off, and they want to create turmoil, and they want to create this thing to start the conversation. But it's like, what is that helping? To get people fighting with each other, what is that helping? It's not helping anything. It's adding to the problem. It's adding to the noise. Yeah, Jim, unfortunately, most social media is like that. But, like, I personally have a pretty large audience, and I don't get a lot of that. So it's like, what's the difference? Is it because I'm not talking about things that matter? No. You guys are here. You know that. I talk about things that most people don't want to talk about all the time. I think the problem is the fact that people don't understand how to communicate. They don't understand where they're even standing. That's the problem. People are too busy to open their mouths and start speaking about things that they think or want or desire or whatever it may be before they're firmly planted in who they are and what they believe. So they sound foolish, or they're offending other people, or they're not clear, and people don't understand. And so there becomes these haters and this rudeness and these disrespectful people in their space that are coming at them. But most of the time it's because they're either, number one, like I said, that was their strategy and they wanted to create some sort of like an argument, or they're just not clear. There can be You can stand on a platform and speak your truth and speak your opinion, even though it's different than everybody else's around you. You can be the exception to the rule. You can talk about your own experiences in a way where it's intentionally causing people to think. That's one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I get all the time from people. They're like, you know what, even if I don't agree with what you said, it makes me think. It makes me realize that other people have different circumstances. It makes me look outside of my own situation, which is the fucking point. If you're gonna stand and talk to people about something, it should be constructive as far as I'm concerned, or you should just not talk at all. And so what I wanted to point out just to everybody is think about that the next time before you make a post, before you make a broad statement, before you do any of that kind of stuff, or like if you're at work and before you stand up and have a conversation, like think before you speak, guys. Like, what's your intention? What are you wanting out of that? Like, be clear on that and stay true to that, because a lot of people that I know that will make a statement like in a meeting, basically like stir some feather or ruffle some feathers, or they'll make a statement like in a group or whatever it may be. But then when people start firing back at them, they like retreat, and they get super defensive. And it's like, no, like if that was your purpose, if your purpose was to start this both sides of whatever conversation, then you need to stay firmly in that intention that you set from begin with. You don't get to step back and be like, oh, I didn't mean it. Everybody hates me. This is so terrible. Like, be intentional with your words. It's insane how much power you can truly have when you decide to speak from a place of purpose, of intention, of being compassionate. Like, I talk about things, like I said, that make other people uncomfortable all the time, but I'm not doing it intentionally to make them uncomfortable. I'm doing it so that people can maybe understand that others aren't just like them, or people who feel like me aren't alone. Like, but it's all in the way you present it. It's all in the way that you communicate. And this has just been an ongoing theme for like 2 weeks. There's been so much people like questioning, like, I don't understand why this happens, and I don't understand why that happens. And it's like, yeah, but you're asking for it by the way that you're talking. In a lot of ways, like, you're asking for people to fire back at you by the way you're presenting what you're saying. So think about that next time. And if you want people to take you seriously and you want to have a constructive conversation about something that matters to you or something that you're passionate about, think about the way that you're presenting it before you hit send or before you speak. And if you're not clear, you need to spend some time with yourself to figure that out, because so many people are just running their mouths. And we see that, like what Mike just said, yeah. The world where headlines dictate their beliefs. Okay, well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm in a place where I choose to not allow that to happen, and I choose to be different in my space, and like, I'm not going to dictate to anybody what they should or shouldn't believe. I'm going to tell them my own experiences and let them make their own conclusion. But I'm also, like I said, super intentional, super clear, super confident, and stuck in, like, standing firmly, like lighthouse planted in what I'm saying. So I just wanted to jump on here really quickly and tell you guys that, like, if you are super, super sure about your message and what you're saying, and you're speaking from a place of integrity and compassion and knowledge, you don't get that lashback because you're not coming off as a huge asshole. Like, does this make sense? If this makes sense, give me a little thumbs up, guys. But like, it's all a choice. You get to choose how you show up. You get to choose how you communicate in any kind of situation. And I do believe that there's just too much noise. So don't add to it if you can't, don't add to it if you're not really clear or educated or positive in what it is that you're saying, because then you're just adding to the problem. See, let me show you. Bam. It's backwards for you, but be the change you wish to see in the world. Have this literally in like 18 places in my house. I have a ring that I wear every day that has it written on it, because that is the truth. The change starts with you. It doesn't start with you ranting on the internet. It doesn't start with you battling people back and forth on social media. It doesn't start with any of that. It starts with you personally, what you choose, what you believe, what you put out there, how you communicate, how you interact with people. It all starts with you. That's the only way true change happens. So that is what I had to say to you guys. You do not have to have a group full of haters. And if you are, most likely you're not communicating properly, in my opinion. The facts are both awesome and gorgeous goes a long way too. I enjoy when I get to, well, thank you, Cliff. Good to hear on election day. Yeah, Shelby, there you go. It's easy to bitch and moan, create a solution. No shit, John, right? Well, that's the whole thing when people are like, I wasn't being an asshole, I was just being honest. Like, I'm just like, seriously? Like, if you were just being an asshole and you should just own that. Like, don't hide behind being honest, because I'm honest all day long and I'm not an asshole. So that doesn't make sense or count. But anyway, just take responsibility for your words and what you're saying and what you're doing, and know that it really does affect other things, and that if you take control of that and take responsibility for it, like, it will shift the paradigm around you. Like, it absolutely will. You have control over that in a big way. So that was my 2 cents, my little thought process for you guys today. I hope that